Happy Saturday. Welcome back to Somm-Things. This week, my special guest is Mats, a familiar face to most of you. He's been an Argonaut for, I think, longer than Argonaut has been in existence. And today we are talking about wines for cooking with. So today we have 3 wines to go over. We're going to do an example of a nice Chardonnay to cook with. We got a red wine. This is Louis Jadot Pinot Noir from Burgundy. And then a little Marsala, just to kind of dispel some myths that go along with cooking and things that you should do with fortified wines. Mats, welcome.
Thank you, thank you.
We're delighted to have you here. I know from personal experience that you are a fantastic cook, so when we thought about doing this one, this would be perfect for have you here and give us some of the insight as to why you choose certain wines and your philosophy on cooking with wine. Do you have one?
I do. Let's start with this beautiful Napa Valley Chardonnay. When you open it, you should get some notes of buttercreams, lemon verbena, a little lemongrass, honeysuckle, because it's just elegant. And this particular Chardonnay is made exclusively for Argonaut.
Really? I didn't know that.
And when it comes to cooking with wine, this would be perfect in a mushroom or a shrimp risotto.
Okay.
Or you could make it into a Chardonnay vinaigrette.
Okay. Or butter sauces, things like that too?
Absolutely.
Awesome. I also read a little bit, just a little bit of research going into this, because I don't cook, can't cook, won't cook. You don't want me to do that for you. But some drier, lighter wines is an option as well. I'm a big fan of Sauvignon Blanc, and I have a friend who cooks constantly with Matua Sauvignon Blanc. It's really easy drinking, and that's important for wines that you're going to cook with. You would always make sure you are cooking with something that you would drink.
Absolutely. Too many people make the mistake of having a bottle of white wine or red wine in their refrigerator for 3, 4, 5 days. They taste it and they say, oh, this is horrible, this is really bad, but I'll cook with it. No, no, no. If it's not good enough to drink, it's certainly not good enough to eat.
Cheers to that. I like it. Oh, cheers. Thank you. So, yeah, when and if I'm cooking in the kitchen, which usually means making a sandwich or toast, I would have Sauvignon Blanc or something else to drink with that. But
that's fine. It's a matter of taste.
All right.
That's why there's so much out there.
There is. So next up, moving into a very classic representation of a French red wine. And this is Louis Jadot. Louis Jadot, the label is very, very recognizable. You'll see they have a number of different bottlings that they make. They've been in operation since like the mid-1700s, so almost 300 years of winemaking experience there. And Pinot Noir being the main grape from Burgundy. So a lot of classic French cooking, think a la Julia Child, etc., usually calls for a red wine for a coq au vin, some very traditional dishes. So this is a very affordable, but also a great quality example of wine to drink and cook with.
A lot of dishes often ask for a Burgundy. Burgundy is an area of France that specializes in Pinot Noir, but you could use any Pinot Noir or any red wine. It's up to you, it's up to your palate. It goes great, as you said, in coq au vin or boeuf bourguignon. You just want to reduce to get that wonderful demi-glaze, that wonderful red wine flavor.
Absolutely. So there's no point adding a wine at the end of cooking unless it's, say, like a dessert wine.
Correct.
So you would keep the alcohol there. But otherwise, the alcohol is going to cook off, so that makes it, you get all the flavor of the wine, the concentration, but you don't necessarily get all the alcohol effects to it. So if you have children, you're not getting them drunk with dinner. That's a very important point. And then I was thinking, too, for friends who are alcohol sensitive, like if the flavor of the alcohol is in there, sometimes that can be a trigger for people. So being sensitive towards that as well. There was an article, I was listening to a podcast about a guy who'd made some dessert with I don't know, brandy or something, and he got all his kids at Thanksgiving wasted. So don't do that. So
tell me what notes you get with this. Beautiful, beautiful nose.
yeah, it's all but berry for me. Strawberry and raspberry. There's a little bit of blackcurrant in there too. And for me, like a touch that's almost like orange zest, orange rind. There's a little brightness on the nose to it.
Bing cherry, white pepper, a little bit of red and black currants. This is the perfect wine to cook with, and it's also under $20.
I say I haven't tasted this in a very long time, and it's good.
It really is.
It really is delicious. I drink a lot more white wine than I do red, but that's like my salivating. I'm ready for some Bouffe Bourguignon.
Yes, ma'am.
That's my French.
So let's go on to the Marsala.
Mm-hmm. I'm enjoying this one a lot. I don't want to stop. All right, so Marsala. I love Marsala, and this falls under the umbrella of fortified wines. And a lot of people get a little weirded out or scared off by fortified wines, and it makes some generalizations or assumptions about them. The fortified wine umbrella includes sherry and port, Madeira and Marsala, and the fortification just means that at some point during production the wine was fortified, given a little extra structure and support, mostly so the wine does not damage or spoil over time, keeps it stable, historically for the journeys as the wines are being shipped around the world. But depending on when the wine is fortified during the winemaking process is one of the reasons you'll have different styles of fortified wines. Also the grapes that are being used and the countries that they come from too. With Marsala, it comes from Sicily. So Sicily having this fantastic history of being part of trade markets and exploration, Italian influence, but if you ask a Sicilian about that, they're not Italian, they're Sicilian. Tons and tons of history and fascinating. Other things that come from Sicily I love, Castelvolturno olives, pink peppercorns, and just really, really beautiful place for wines. The Marsala is made, there's 3 different styles typically. There's an oro, or gold, there's an ambra, and a rubino. The oro and the gold are both made with white grapes only, so you'll see them using Catarratto, Inzolia, Grillo in there as well. And then the rubino is the sweet one, and that is only made with red grapes, although they do allow up to 30% of white grapes in there as well. For cooking intents and purposes, there's different categories or levels. There's Fine, there's Superiore, there's a Superiore Reserva, there is a Stravecchio, which is like the 10-year aged one, and the Fine is only aged 1 year, 17%. The Superiore is aged for 2 years. These are the ones you're going to cook with. You're not really going to mess around with the other ones. Those are more aperitif or digestif or cheese plate type things. Maybe playing with dessert on those too. This one we picked Pellegrino. It's only like $12.99 a bottle. I don't think you would really spend much more than that for a cooking Marsala. It's something you should kind of have in your fridge. If you ever run out of Marsala, you could use Madeira instead. But I think Marsala has its own unique flavor that makes it delicious.
It really is. People often come into Argonaut and say, I'm making a chicken Marsala. Should I use sweet Marsala or dry Marsala? My general rule of thumb, when it comes to Marsala, with sweet Marsala, save that for desserts, your zabaione, your tiramisus. And with a dry Marsala, that's perfect because it's savory for veal Marsala or chicken Marsala.
Okay.
And when you smell it, you just get this wonderful essence of brandy and raisins. And it's just gorgeous.
It reminds me of like pecan pies and caramel and all kinds of ooey delicious. I would drink this by myself, however, I'd watch out. Like 17% alcohol, I already feel the heat on this.
What's also nice is that it will sit in your refrigerator or on the counter, in a decanter, in the pantry for a good 2 months. So you don't have to use it all at once.
Yep. And yeah, as you were saying, if you cook a dish, you have a special dish that you cook every 2 or 3 weeks for the family, it's perfect. You're not going to waste it. They do come in larger size formats as well. So if you're making a big batch, there's plenty, you won't run out. Madeira is something else that I think we'll probably do another session on. I love Madeira, love drinking it, love talking about the different styles there. That, just FYI, you can keep forever. It will not go bad. So, any other parting thoughts or moments on the delights of cooking with wine?
I enjoy cooking with wine, and sometimes I even put it in my food.
All right, well, that's it for this week. As always, thank you so much for joining us. If you have any other thoughts or ideas or things you'd like us to talk about, please let us know. We are always happy to help. Come into the store if you're looking for specific ideas for food pairings. We have lots of ideas, lots of experiences between us. I can't cook, but I've certainly paired a lot of wines, and I love the science of it. So we're happy to help. Good.
Thank you.
Cheers.